Some thrilling Gamecock baseball action we just listened to here on these airwaves, and the sports fun does not have to end there, my friends, because there is some playoff basketball action tonight that you can get in on with our friends over at Prize Picks. Look, it's easy to play Prize Picks. All you got to do is just pick more or less on 2 to 6 player stat projections and watch those winnings roll in. I'm all in on the playoff basketball action tonight. I like PJ Washington specifically to go more than 19.5 plus points, rebounds, and assists. And you know what? I'll go more on Luka Doncic going with 8.5 rebounds as well, and you can do the same. Just download the app today. Use promo code 1075GAME for a first deposit match up to $100. That's code 1075GAME on Prize Picks for a first deposit match up to $100. Hey, pick more, pick less. It is that easy with our friends at Prize Picks.
.526 on this Wednesday afternoon, and welcome in to it's still the post-game show. And it's like Elijah said yesterday, it's a literal post-game show for the second straight day.
It's the post-game show.
Which is kind of cool. Speaking of Elijah, he's Elijah Campbell.
I am.
I'm Jay Phillips.
I'm
Yeah.
Elijah Campbell.
You are. I'm Jay Phillips. We are with you here in the Herndon Chevy Studios. Carolina wins a thriller. I suppose you call this one a thriller. Typically, I guess a thriller is maybe one where you come back and you feel really great about it rather than the, oh, my God, are they going to...
I call this a thriller.
But it was.
Yeah.
Listen, 2 in a row after 6 in a row on the wrong side of the column. And I wasn't sure. I was getting ready to look it up. And Derek told us during his post-game comments that it's the first time since South Carolina won this event, the only time South Carolina won this event, 2004, but the first time since then that South Carolina has started this tournament at 2-0. So you're guaranteed to hang around for a couple of more days now. You get LSU tomorrow. They will have a decided crowd advantage. I thought Alabama was going to yesterday, but they didn't.
That shows the enthusiasm about Alabama baseball, I guess.
And they said the announced crowd today was 7,000 and so I was like, yeah, there weren't 7,000 people there.
There were 7,000 chairs to disguise.
They sold a lot of tickets. But Cole Messina was brilliant. 3 for 4, 2 home runs, 5 runs driven in. He got walked one time, and he yelled at the umpire. So, I mean, that's a day. That's a really, really good day. Jones, Good, and Gainey were the pitchers. Hard to believe that was Gary Gainey's first win of the season. So no idea at this point who goes tomorrow for South Carolina. Could be Roman Kimball. Could be Eddie Copper. I don't know. You know, it won't be SQ. Won't be Good. I have no idea. You know, the reason I say Eddie Copper is because Eddie started a few midweek games for South Carolina, at least in the beginning of the season. At this point, you're just glad to be there, you know. Now, what does this do for the postseason opportunities and things like that? I suppose you could find a way now to get yourself elevated to a 2. I still don't believe you're going to host without winning this event. I mean, you put yourself in nice position. I'll say that much. I'm certainly not predicting that South Carolina wins the Southeastern Conference tournament, but you've put yourself in good position. But this could potentially elevate you back onto the 2 seed line. Vanderbilt winning last night was really good for you because it put Vandy back inside the top 25 of the RPI, which means the sweep of Vandy in Columbia goes back into the Q1 win column for South Carolina. So that's really nice. You get a Q1 yesterday. You get a Q1 today. So yeah, Elijah was saying you got 4 Q1 wins in one day because of your own win plus Vandy getting back into the top 25. Now you beat one of the top 5 teams in the country. So it enhances your RPI even further. Now you split with Arkansas this season. You may see them again. You never know. But so far 2-2 against Arkansas. So that's a help. But I don't know that this, I wouldn't hold out any hope of this getting Carolina back into the hosting opportunity. And I will also say this, is the sense of urgency that may be there right now there if Carolina hadn't been swept the last 2 weekends. We'll discuss all of that for you, get you a few highlights, a couple of breaking college football playoff news notes to get to as well on this Wednesday. Be right back.
Certainly winning games in Hoover was a goal for this Gamecock team after dropping 2 straight series to Georgia and Tennessee to end the regular season. And they're achieving that goal, winning games in Hoover. The same way I was able to achieve a pretty big goal that I set out last month with my friends at Columbia Secret for Weight Loss. Look, everybody's goal is a little bit different, right? Whether it's 15 pounds or 50, you need help getting to achieve that goal. I was able to surpass that and drop 20 pounds myself because of my friends over at Columbia Secret for Weight Loss. Paul, Grant, and Shaylin have done a fantastic job of coaching me and helping me establish a healthier lifestyle without any pills or shots, nothing like that, just lifestyle habits and coaching and a program that works. To go ahead and get a consultation, just give a call, 803-824-4210, or go to ColumbiaSecretForWeightLoss.com to learn the secret of losing up to 1 pound of unhealthy fat per day and start your own success story like myself. From the WIS weather or traffic center, rather. They do weather too. But from the traffic center, I'm Elijah Campbell with a few accidents to get to you that are causing some issues on the roadways. And there's one in Richland County. An accident has the right lane completely blocked on I-26 westbound over at Bush River Road near exit 108A. Now, the right lane is completely blocked, so traffic is at a total standstill there right now. In Irmo, we have an accident on Bickley Road at Dutch Fork Road near St. Andrews. We also have one on Fernandina Road near St. Andrews Road. We also have one on I-26, two on I-26 eastbound, one at Bush River Road near 108A, and then one approaching Sunset Boulevard, looks like near exit 110.
And we'll jump right into the drive around the SEC on this Wednesday. Welcome back in. Jay and Elijah with you for a very abbreviated version of the program, but not as abbreviated as yesterday, where we went like 10 and a half minutes.
Yesterday broke the record for the most abbreviated post.
Yeah, I think so. You know, short of not doing one, that was about as quickly as we could get in. But we had one final break yesterday after the 10-5 win over Bama. 5 more runs today for the opponent, and one more than Arkansas. 6-5 Carolina wins if you've just tuned in. So they go 2-0 at this event for the first time in 20 years. They will take on LSU tomorrow afternoon. It is scheduled for 5:30. As Derek said, and we were talking with Terry, who's been monitoring this as well here in the building, we are told it'll be a 5:15 airtime, but there could be a little fluidity there just based on how the first couple of games are going. Tomorrow, game 1 is Arkansas and Kentucky. Loser goes home. Then tomorrow in the 2 o'clock time slot-ish will be the losers of tonight's games, which is Vandy, Tennessee, which just started. And then tonight you've got State and A&M. So, again, losers of tonight's games will play tomorrow in Game 2 of the day. Carolina LSU in Game 3 of the day, again, scheduled for 5:30, and the nightcap will be the winners of tonight's game. So, Carolina will play at least 4 baseball games at the Hoover Met this week. And I don't even know the last time they've done that.
It's been a weird tournament.
It is. You know, I mean, Bama kind of needed the win. Carolina kind of needed the win just to make sure, you know, this win today certainly solidifies. Look, I already believe it was solid. You already believe it was solid. Our buddy Aaron Fitt and many others that do this for a living in other places felt it was solid. But I know there was some consternation locally. Put any of that to rest now. There is zero doubt South Carolina is going to the NCAA baseball tournament next week. Where, we don't know. Again, these 2 wins could potentially, even if you lose the next 2, could potentially elevate you to the 2 seed line. I don't know. There's a lot of other baseball to be played and a lot of other things that will go into that. But the good news is you're back to feeling good about yourself. And if you're a Carolina baseball fan, Carolina baseball player, the Carolina coaching staff, that's a good thing because listen, it was the last couple of weeks have been crap. I'd like to say more, but I won't. I can't. And that's a very, very big understatement to say it that way. But these 2 games, you've hit a lot of home runs. Again, Messina today with 2 more. He's the only guy that had multiple hits today. Arkansas can pitch. Carolina took advantage of a couple of really key moments. And the ball, as Stuart Lake was saying during the broadcast, the weather is really cooperative right now for the ball to be jumping out of a really big ballpark. And Carolina can score. Carolina can hit home runs. Look at today. By the way, today, LSU run-ruled Kentucky 11-0. It took them until the 8th inning to get the run rule because they had a second grand slam. The first time in the history of the Southeastern Conference baseball tournament that the same team has hit 2 grand slams in one game. And it was game number 607, according to Dave Neal. That's kind of a cool stat. Wish I had made it up. I didn't.
It's a real one.
Factual. 2 grand slams today for LSU. And Kentucky just looked like they couldn't have given 2 you-know-whats about being there, which maybe isn't the worst thing. Again, that laissez-faire approach is kind of how Carolina baseball took this event for a long time, man.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I've ever asked Coach Tanner or not, but in 2004, winning the tournament elevated South Carolina to the number 2 overall national seed. And they went on to finish 3rd that year at the College World Series. I don't know, though, that they went into it with any other mindset other than, it's just, well.
If you win it, you win it.
Just keep winning. Well, and then all of a sudden you get to a title game and you're like, well, may as well win. We're here. One of those kind of things. It's kind of like.
You didn't need it. That's the thing. You didn't go into it needing it.
No. I don't know. I mean, Carolina was probably. They were probably in that gray area, if I remember correctly, 20 years ago of being a national seed. Like, could. They're
flirting with it.
Yeah. But again, winning the event, and they were like, man, number 2. I forget who number 1 was that year. But regardless, you have an opportunity here now to continue to impress the committee. And you've done enough, but, I mean, what are those impressions now? That's the thing. But the big question, Elijah, who's going to pitch? Who's going to pitch?
That's the we'll figure that part out later thing, right? Because, I mean, if you want to talk about the most reliable arms you have in the rotation that you've trusted to start games this year, especially lately, Eli Jones, Ty Good, Garrett Gainey, all 3 pitched today, and they all threw at least 50 pitches.
Yeah, but they put you into the winner's bracket, so they did their job.
Yes.
Right?
So now you're going to have to maybe rely on going the full opener route.
Right.
And maybe having to pitch some guys that you wouldn't want to pitch against a team like LSU, who is seemingly teeing off on everybody.
Yeah.
LSU will be in a similar spot.
Yeah.
Because they've exhausted a lot of their best arms right now and cannot pitch them tomorw too. There's a good chance that this game goes on late into the night.
This is going to be a
practice to each other.
4-hour game.
Take the over. I know our friends at Prize Picks don't have anything on this game, but if there's a way to, I would lean over that there's going to be a lot of runs being scored. But you've put yourself in a position to where you can at least do this. Do you see Matthew Becker some tomorrow? No, he pitched yesterday, but he didn't pitch a ton yesterday.
Right. How many? I can't remember how many he threw yesterday. I'll go back and find out.
Oh, yesterday, because I have it pulled up right here, my friend. Matthew Becker threw a total of 39 pitches.
He could see sometime.
He could
tomorrow.
see sometime.
Sometime.
So you're looking at maybe a little bit of Becker. I'm trying to think of just
Becker could probably give you that again tomorrow.
Yeah, the same amount. And if it was the exact same as it was yesterday, then that's 2 innings.
Yeah.
So he can maybe give you a couple innings to get you almost a third of the way into the game.
I got a hunch. I mean, I don't know.
Veach will not be available.
No. I mean, Kimball's going to have to give you something, I think.
Yeah, I think you might start Kimball. I don't know. You start Kimball? Because Kimball has started before.
Yeah. That's why I said Kimball, Copper, somebody that started some games for you. Eddie hadn't started in a while.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Ray is up next. Ray, sit tight, buddy. I want to get to your phone call, but I want to be fair to you, and I have less than a minute, so I'm going to go ahead, hit the break. We'll come back with that interesting news. We knew this was going to happen in the college football playoff, but it did become official today. I'll explain. We'll get to some phone calls. You're listening to an abbreviated but fun edition, I hope, of the postgame show. Welcome back into the postgame show on this Thursday afternoon, brought to you in part by our very good friend, Dr. Dan Balknight, and his team at the Men's Clinic. Too often, guys don't go to the doctor when they feel off. Whether it's because you don't want to talk about it, you think you can just tough it out. Listen, don't do that. Don't be that guy, especially as you get older. Get the feeling better. See Dr. Dan Balknight and his team at the Men's Clinic, experts in healthcare for men, dedicated to making you feel like yourself again. 803-875-MENS. Call and schedule a free consultation or learn more about what they do at themensclinicsc.com. Good people over there. Dan Balknight and his team at the Men's Clinic. Ray, appreciate your patience, buddy, on a day when we got to crash a lot of stuff into each other here to fit it all in. How are you, sir? Welcome in.
Hey, Jay, doing great. Well, I tell you, I was watching the game, and after the game, Lisa Lynch, a renowned alumnus of the University of South Carolina, much like Jay Phillips, she made the comment, was talking about how good the SEC is in baseball and how, a 10 seed and 11 seed can be in the winners bracket, after their second game. I mean, it really does show you just how strong the conference is, unbelievable. And I'll tell you one thing, man, sports, especially baseball, we play so many series and everything like that, man, things can turn on a dime. I mean, let's face the way things happened the last 2 weeks, none of us wanted to say, man, we're on the bubble now. There's a chance we might not get in. But I'll tell you, that's been popped. And not only has that been popped, Jay Phillips, I would not be surprised if this team doesn't make a long run and maybe get to Omaha. And at the end of the day, Coach Kingston, which I've always been a fan of, crazier things have happened, The guy might get an extension in the race. I would not be surprised.
Crazy things have happened, Ray. There's no question. Again, Mississippi a few years ago had a season very similar to South Carolina's. Stumbled through, had a couple of bad slumps, just couldn't seem to find itself, and ended up winning the College World Series coming out of the bracket as a 3 seed. I am not here to predict that. I know, Ray, you weren't predicting that either, but it again, Fresno State 15, 17 years ago, whatever it was a 4 and won the College World Series. So, crazy things do happen.
Had to win their conference tournament to get into the entire dance itself and ended up winning it.
That said, listen, only the most negatively cynical fans really felt like South Carolina just was unworthy of being in the national tournament. And this team is not as bad as it looked the last couple of weeks. But this team has really never found I remember the conversation, I forget, maybe Elijah, it was after the Kentucky series and before Missouri, and we were talking with Derek. And I said, Derek, is this team getting hot or just kind of finding itself? And he said, yeah, it's the latter, because there just aren't enough opportunities to really, quote, get hot. Somewhere along the way you get beat. But that they at least knew who they were. Now, I don't know that Derek knew, like any of us, that the wheels were going to fall off against Georgia and Tennessee. But they did. Mm-hmm. The good news is you're putting the wheels back on. Now, where does that wagon take you? I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. And, LSU might score a bunch of – LSU has scored 20 runs in this turn. Now, you've scored 16.
Not far off.
Yeah. And you've hit a grand slam. You've hit a bunch of home runs.
Finally.
So, that's why I don't think you and I are really joking that much when we say tomorrow night might be a 4-hour game.
It very well could. Buckle up. I hope you like runs.
Yeah. Get some popcorn and coffee. So – Ray,
weird combination.
Crazy things can happen. And like I said, this team has set itself up into the winners bracket. I would not have thought they would be in this position.
No one did.
Yeah.
It was so bleak. And it wasn't just that they got swept by Tennessee. I think a lot of it is how you got swept by Tennessee. The first 2 games of losing because Tennessee and Christian Moore specifically kept hitting the ball all the way out to Dollywood. Predictable. Right, especially the way you pitched the weekend prior. But giving up only 4 runs in the finale and still losing by 3.
Well, it's like you and I said, when the offense began to get away from you, then you got worried. Again, you averaged 7 runs per game against Georgia, and you still got your butt kicked. Mm-hmm. You scored 7 total runs against Tennessee.
Not going to work.
Yeah.
And that's what you've hung your hat on all year is the bats, specifically with Messina and Petrie.
Yeah. You knew you could score.
You can get guys on base, and those 2 could bring the runs home.
Right. And Ethan had a good day yesterday. Ethan got a hit today.
Cole's on another planet.
Yeah,
right
I mean,
now.
Cole,
Goodness
again,
gracious, man.
If you just tuned in today, Cole Messina today, 3 for 4, 2 homers, 5 driven in. Obviously, the 2 runs on the home runs. He got walked once today. And as I said earlier, Elijah, you didn't hear me because you were answering a phone call. He also yelled at the umpire. So that was pretty cool.
Love it. Yeah, love it.
And you got to love it when a catcher can yell at the home plate umpire about a strike call that wasn't a strike, and it wasn't. That was a bad call. And I think maybe either the ump knew it or he's giving a catcher who's been watching the strike zone all day a little bit more leeway than they typically give you in college. Yeah. You know, you're not supposed to do that at any level. Mm-hmm. But I do think home plate umpires and catchers have a bit of a symbiotic relationship on game day.
Yeah, a little bit.
And so I think that there was a little grace there from the home plate umpire, but I like that Cole didn't just like shake his head. He turned around and gave him a little jaw, not a big one.
He didn't show him up.
No, he didn't.
It was maybe like a really,
but he turned
man?
around, and I always wonder, do catchers, when they're doing that, like, you giving that to my guy? Like, that's what I would be thinking.
Yeah.
Is my guy getting that call?
Or something along those lines.
You know, and you come back out, you know, when it's your turn to catch again, and you were like, hey, I'm going to tell him to throw it up there, all right? Like, you giving it to me? What are we doing here? You know, and then you can kind of fist bump it out, and everything's going to be good.
You can have a little bit of manipulation there. But, man, 6 for 8, 3 home runs, 8 RBI the last 2 games. Yeah. He's on a heater.
Jay Jones tomorrow is going to be, or Jay Johnson, excuse me, is going to be like, you know what, let's not pitch to him.
Yeah. I think everybody else beat us.
Yeah. Let's see what happens. But again, I don't know who LSU is going to throw, so we'll find all those things out for you. No score, Vandy and Tennessee top 2. And again, later tonight, it's A&M and Mississippi State. Mississippi State winning in amazing fashion last night in the 9th inning to end Ole Miss's season. Real quick, I said I would get to this, and I will. We knew this was going to happen. The college football playoff television structure allowed Disney to sublet some of their games to other providers if they so chose. And that Disney has done that. They have announced today that they've signed a 5-year deal with Turner Sports to allow Turner, and it'll be on TNT, we understand, to have 2 games a year for the next 5 seasons. So TNT Sports will have 2 college football playoff games for the next 5 years. We are now sincerely hoping, and I'm not kidding, that Ernie and Kenny and Shaq and Chuck will be part. I saw one guy go, they don't know anything about football. I don't care.
No. Who does? They barely know enough about the NBA now.
I told you, and I'm really not kidding about this. I've given Elijah this specific example. I could watch those 4 talk about the merits of watching paint dry. And I think it would be fantastic television.
I would listen to talk about the Civil War. Where we said in the Confederacy, Chuck? Galveston?
I would listen to them talk about basically anything, but there you go. Anyway, we're done for the day. Back with you tomorrow, regular time at 3. For how long? Not sure yet.
TBD.
Yeah. See you then.
Hey, good show. That was a good show, and tonight we're going to get a really good show as well if you're keeping up with the playoff basketball action, which I am, and I'm all in on. And we got a good series opener tonight, and with our friends at Prize Picks, you can get on the action yourself. Look, all you got to do is pick more or less on 2 to 6 player stat projections, and you can watch those winnings roll in. I love doing point, rebound, and assist projections. That's been my bread and butter all playoff long, and tonight I am all in on my man, P.J. Washington, who might be the best role player in these entire playoffs, going for over 19.5 points plus rebounds and assists, and you can get in on that action with me. All you got to do is download the Prize Picks app today, use promo code 1075GAME for a first deposit match up to $100. That's promo code 1075GAME on Prize Picks or first deposit match. Pick more, pick less. It's that easy. Enjoy the playoff basketball and hockey action with our friends at Prize Picks.